Hi guys. So till now we have discussed about that how you have to understand the ecosystem and then how you have to understand your why. So now we are going to discuss about the validation of your idea. So validation of idea is something which comes after you have identified that what exactly you are going to do. And once you have identified it, then you will validate it. Now there are two approaches to validate any idea. One is that you follow the MVP approach, which I'm going to discuss, and second is the Big Bang approach. So difference between two is that MVP approach is that you create a product, develop it with limited features, and take it to the market for initial feedback. As you get the feedback, you improve your product, and with this you continuously follow the process of continuous improvement and bring the best product with a backlog, definitely, because improvements are required as per the changes of the market requirements. Now comes the big bang approach is something which you have to follow if you are developing something which is a very big product, and suppose you bring up all the features of that product, maybe say 60-70% in the first run only. Okay, at the first release, if you are coming up with a big bang thing, there is always a risk because you are putting so much efforts, time, money, and people will be deployed on the project. And if it doesn't works or if doesn't gets positive feedback from the market, then it is definitely a risky proposition. So out of these two, my recommendation is that you go with the MVP approach, but both these approaches are taken, but second one is bit riskier. The big companies, when they release any new product or if any new startup is coming into the market, generally they follow the minimum viable product approach, and we are going to discuss that only through this particular video. Okay, so what is the target market? So defining your target market is must, because when you are validating your minimum viable product, you need to first see that what are your customers, okay, and to those customers what you are going to offer. So here what we will do is, so first of all you will identify the demographics, that you will understand the age, gender, location, and income level of your potential customers. So this is the prerequisite, because you need to segregate. Suppose if I tell you that how you will segregate, so there are three Indias: India 1, India 2, and India 3. India 1 consists of the population which is having high income level. So it is around 12 crore. India 2 is around 30 to 40 crore. And India 2 is basically middle level of income groups, and a middle average or just below average. And the low level income groups is around say 90 to 95 crore. Okay, so this is how the India will be divided into three parts. Now what you have to do, you have to identify first that out of these three, is your product or offering going to be valuable to all three Indias, or India 1 and some part of India 2, or only India 1. Generally the big companies, they segregate their offering as per this particular principle that I've just told: India 1, India 2, and India 3. And accordingly they just see the age, gender, location. Okay, so income levels I have just mentioned: India 1, India 2, India 3. Sometime the consumable product is such that India 1 and 2 can consume it. Sometime it is something which can be consumed by all the three segments of having all income levels. How? The possibility is that particular product is a regular usage product, maybe a toothpaste or a toothbrush. Okay, but generally when you are talking about luxury goods, these are consumed only by India 1. Okay, so you have to identify that you are offering, whether it is a luxury item, it is relevant for a middle class or relevant for a low level income group as well. Accordingly you have to segment your market. Then comes the pain points. So first you have to identify that the specific problem that your product or service aims to solve for your target audience. Okay, so how it happens, like I discussed in the previous video about waste management. Now waste management is prevalent mostly in the urban areas. Why? Because in the urban areas people are consuming the products and there are no such facility to dispose of the waste properly. Okay, so now if it is an urban city challenge, due to throwing garbage here and there, like if you remember about Swachh Bharat Yojana. Okay, why that Swachh Bharat Yojana came into existence? Only because of this problem. Okay, now identify the specific problem your product or service aims to solve for your target audience. In this case, waste management is the pain point. Now comes the competition. So you will see which all other companies are solving similar kind of problem. If they are solving similar kind of problem, then you need to see that what unique you can offer. Okay, I discussed in that example there are three things. One is collection, other is processing, third is disposal, or you can use this particular waste for production of a particular material. Now if you are choosing, suppose, creation of a specific designer shoes using the waste, okay, so you need a specific kind of a waste for that. So what you can do is you can go to these waste collection or processing companies and you can ask that this waste is something that we will buy from you, and this we will process and use and we will dispose of in this manner. Okay, so this way you can create a unique offering. You can take the inputs from the other waste management company in a collaborative way, and then you can create a product and sell it on the through a website or any mechanism. Okay, that we will discuss on the sales video part, but this is how it will work. Okay, so next comes is conducting the research of market. Now whatever I am telling you in this video, just listen to it and then see the practical video related to this one, because this is just a base. The main work we will do in the next video that you are going to see. Okay, just listen to this carefully, whatever I am telling. So conducting market research, so it can be done through four ways. One is that you can do it through online service. Okay, through online surveys you can do the get the feedback of the wider audience. Using social media you can get this feedback through WhatsApp, through emails. Okay, you can do in-depth interviews to understand their needs and pain points. You can do a focus group discussion also. Okay, where you will observe and discuss your ideas with a diverse group of potential users. And then you can also do the differentiation, innovation. Why? Because if you are different, you are innovative, definitely you have an advantage in comparison to other competitor, because you are following a blue ocean strategy that we discussed earlier also. If you are also giving the same offering that other person is giving, then you are basically falling into a red ocean. That is how it works. Okay, so this is the way of doing the market research. Now you will gather customer feedback through the market research that you have done, that we have discussed just now. And in this, what you will do is you will start testing your prototype, get the early feedback on your product or service by showcasing it to a potential customer. Okay, now customer, we have already segmented who is our customer. Okay, so the flow is this way. First, I have identified that this is your why, this is your purpose. Accordingly, you have seen a problem in the market. For that, you have created a solution. Now that solution, before launching it to the market, you have to validate it. This is what we have discussed. This validation process requires initial feedbacks from the customer. That is what we are discussing currently. Now the usability testing also will be done. Okay, observe that users interact with your product and identify the areas where user is facing a problem. Suppose you have created a software and it is a very great software. It is serving great purpose as far as, say, waste management is concerned. You have created an app. Now if user is not able to access a particular feature because there is a confusion whether he has to click this button or that button, so that is what usability is. So you have to make sure that the user interface, the user experience of the app that you have created is apt. Okay, then comes the customer interviews. So you have to conduct one-on-one interviews to understand what customer is looking for and what are his or her preferences. This is how you have to do for the customer interview part. And then comes the reviews. So what you will be doing is you will be continuously monitoring and analyzing the feedback from online reviews and social media. Generally, whenever people see a demo or use a product, okay, they can give you the feedback in the closed group or through your email, okay, or on a WhatsApp. But if the same customer, you are giving them a finished product, okay, how they will give you the review? They will give you review either on a Google map or maybe through, okay. So online reviews may basically you have to monitor and analyze the feedback from the social media platforms or the Google map reviews that the customer is sharing about your product offering. Okay, so this is how it works. Now comes the next part where we will be discussing about the identification of the pain points and the needs of the customer. So first of all, you have to see that while using your product, okay, that specific problem that you are ensuring to resolve for the target audience, okay, that they are facing, whether your product, say a waste management app, is able to take the request from the user. If it is able to take the request, whether that request is getting processed within a defined timeline. Aisa na ho ki you have taken a request, but the collector person who is going to collect that waste is going after 10 days. Okay, same day collection should happen even within few hours. Okay, so this operational part should also be robust. Okay, then comes, because if you see that if customer is going to use your app and you're going to manage the waste, okay, so you need to make sure your app is collecting the waste. Okay, not collecting the waste, app is taking the request, then operational team is going to that location collecting the waste, and then whenever they are collecting the waste, that waste is going to a proper place for the disposal. If this is happening timely, disposal is happening timely, it is getting processed, output is getting generated, or it is disposed of in a proper way, then your purpose is properly solved. Better, you should tell that customer should have a end-to-end review, that whatever waste has been collected from the customer, his or her app should show that this is what is collected from this location, it has gone to this location for processing, and then it has gone to the other location for the disposal. Okay, so that the customer understand the carbon footprint. Okay, nowadays these things, if you are able to develop, it will really be useful. Okay, because people are very much eco-friendly, है ना, खास करके the Gen Z, I discussed that in the previous video also. So you have to make sure that everything is mapped in a proper way as far as this offering is concerned, and you have to prioritize that the most pressing pain points and critical needs you have to focus. Because I was taking the example of Gurgaon earlier also. I'll tell you what is the problem. Collection is happening, municipality car comes, okay, but the disposal is not happening properly, and they are just dumping in the here and there. Okay, and due to this dumping, whenever rain comes or whenever weather is not proper, what happens, it goes to like all these waste material na? That is the problem. Okay, so that is what you have to avoid while creating the offering. Now you need to make sure ki it is not backfiring you, because as a startup, if you are doing good job, make sure that consistency need to be maintained at every end, not only at the collection end but end to end. Okay, now comes the developing a MVP. So what you have to do is, first is ideation. You have to brainstorm. Now brainstorming is something that you can do with your colleagues, your team. Even you can use AI tools, which are generative AI tools like ChatGPT or Google Bard, and you can put through your ideas, ask for the inputs, continuously improve on your idea after taking inputs from your peers, your mentors, okay, your team members, okay, co-founders, as well as if you are a solopreneur, you can use AI tools as well. Then comes the prototyping. So once you have done the ideation part, you have to do a basic version of your product to gather the feedback, and you have to continuously iterate. Means you have to continuously like take the input, process the input, and come up with the updated or upgraded version of your product or service. Okay, then comes the launch part. You have to launch your MVP to a small targeted group of users for testing purpose, and when it is done, you have to just analyze that how the feedback is there. You have to analyze through the user data and feedback to improve it continuously. So this is how the MVP approach works. Okay, first of all, you have to identify and recruit a diverse group of potential customer to test your MVP. Now it is mentioned as recruit, doesn't mean that you have to pay someone to buy your product. You can definitely get paid in the initial phase only, but you have to give a free trial, or maybe trial at a very low cost. Okay, so that customer can at least check your product and have a genuine feedback. Don't have a paid feedback, because then it is a biased feedback. Okay, so make sure you have a genuine proper feedback so that you can improve on your product as well. Then comes the observation. So what you have to do, you have to closely observe that how users interact with your MVP and identify that if there are any improvement areas, so you have to improve it. And then comes the feedback part. We have already discussed in the previous slide, but still I am just repeating it for your understanding purpose. Okay, then you have to analyze user behavior. Okay, and you have to basically see it on the metrics, kind of a like engagement, satisfaction, and conversion. Like you have to measure what the time spent, pages visited, if it is a website or a software, right? Then you have to see the satisfaction, like net promoter score or customer ka review, how they are giving you the review of the product. Then comes the conversions. Like these are three different matrices. One is the engagement, like if you are posting about your product on say social media, okay, So how much engagement you are getting on that particular video of your product, okay, or a service. Then you are checking through satisfaction score, then you are checking through conversion score, like how many sign-ups are happening, how many purchases are happening, okay. And then you have to continuously improve, because you need to keep something in your mind that, like, while posting or while sharing anything or while putting a product on an e-commerce platform or anywhere, you have to make sure that whatever you are going to sell or going to share, it should get this much kind of an engagement or a satisfaction rate or a conversion rate. If it is deviating from your target, if it is getting better than what you are expecting, definitely you need to revisit and see whether your estimation fault is there, okay, or like you have developed something brilliant. But if it is performing below par, below the expectation, you have to continuously evolve, approve with the proper like analysis of this, okay. So improvement is must. Now comes the iterating and refining your business idea. So as I mentioned earlier also, so you have to incorporate the feedback, you have to experiment continuously, do the pivoting till you reach the final outcome of your why, that the problem that you are going to solve. Till you have reached that point, okay, continuously take feedback, do experimentation, do pivoting, and do a continuous validation of whatever you are providing to the customer. How it has to be done? Same process that we have discussed till now in this video, okay. Then you have to see, because ultimately, since we are discussing this courses for profit business, I discussed this earlier also. So you need to make sure that your revenue model, your pricing strategies, okay, that are optimal, okay. That, like, you have to determine the optimal pricing structure that balances the customer value with the business opportunity, okay. Means you should charge optimal price. Then comes the revenue streams. You have to identify various revenue generating channels such as subscription, one time purchase, or in-app purchases, okay. Now what are these? Such as subscriptions are generally for SaaS platforms, one time purchase again is for software products like apps, etc. And in-app purchase is if you purchase through Play Store of Google or Apple. Now comes the financial projections. So you have to create detailed financial projections to access the viability and scalability of your business model. Because if the main purpose is earning profits, so you need to see that your profits and your revenue. Suppose your revenue are increasing every year 4x and your profits are increasing every year 2x. It is a viable model because you are continuously growing as per your projections. But suppose your profits are on declining trend, then it is not a sustainable business to do, okay. So that's why the projections have to be done, and it is very important for any startup to get the financial projections, correct financial projections, to be developed as per the estimations of the market requirement, okay. If demand is going to be there of a particular product, okay, you need to do what? You need to identify that what is the CAGR, compounded annual growth rate of this particular segment. Say real estate is going to grow by 18% till 28, we are in 24. So if you are offering something for a real estate industry, so your product should also grow at least 15 to 20%, either more than 80% or slightly lesser than 80%. But if your growth is only 5%, definitely you need to revisit what you are planning to offer, okay. So this is how you have to do the projections. Now comes the customer lifetime value. Whenever you are acquiring a customer, the journey doesn't stop after giving one service, okay. If you have delivered one service, so continuously you have to see that what is the long time value or long term value of this customer, which is also termed as LTV, okay. If lifetime value of this customer is giving you positive revenue, okay, you are getting profit out of each customer. Suppose cost of acquisition, which is coca, cost of customer acquisition is 1,000 rupees, you are getting a revenue of say 10,000 or 15,000 from that customer. Definitely it's a profitable revenue to get into, right? So this is how you will evaluate the customer lifetime value, okay. Now comes the transition to growth, okay. So you have to first see the revenue model. Your revenue model should be profitable only, as I mentioned, okay. Maybe in the first year, due to the expenditures that you have to do, it might not be doing break even, but second year or third year, at least third year onwards, it should be profitable. But again, I'm repeating, I am not in favor of such kind of businesses which will become profitable from third or fourth year, okay. I've discussed this in the first or second video also. We are working here to develop business which is profitable from the day one. That is what our agenda is, that is what we are going to do also, okay. This is what is a best practice as per market. I'm just telling you that. Okay, diverted. Okay, I'm just sharing this because this is a standard practice, but we are not following the standard practice. We will be going with the approach of having a profitable startup from the day one itself. Customer feedback. Okay, so continuously you have to gather the feedback. We have already discussed this, you know. Then team, invest in the right infrastructure and the team for expansion. This also, like in the initial phase, if you don't need like people or you don't have budgets to invest heavy, definitely you can work with the interns. Okay, or you can work with the people who will not charge much. Okay, as far as infrastructure is concerned, in the initial stage you can do this work from your college, from your home. Okay, no one is going to visit your office just for the sake of taking a service. Okay, everything has moved online. Our focus is on setting up business online, getting the customers online and delivering them online. That is what our focus will be continuously. Okay, then agility and adaptability. So you need to stay agile and adaptable in the constantly evolving landscape. So it means that you should be flexible enough. Okay, you should continuously evolve as a product, as a company, as a founder, and you have to be adaptable with the changes that are happening in the market. If you are adaptable, you are agile, definitely there are high chances of your growth. Okay, so that's all in this video. We'll catch up. Signing off. Thank you so much.